Hello teachers and staff. This week's tech tip I learned about at an AutoCAD training last year from a gentleman named JC. Unfortunately, I don't remember his full name or the school he works at, so if this ever crosses your desk, JC, huge thanks to you. And the reason why I love this software so much is because it really meets what I like to call that software sweet spot, where simplicity and functionality intersect. In other words, if you think of something like Microsoft Paint or Notepad, they're great for what you can use them for, but they're a little too simple. And if you think of something like Excel or Photoshop, they're amazing and can do all kinds of things, but take years of training to perfect. Today's software, which is called Microsoft ZoomIt, a screen annotation tool, I could teach you in about 5 minutes, but you're going to be using it every day while you share your screen to your students for all kinds of different things. Let me show you. All right. So ZoomIt can do 3 main things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is it can zoom, of course, like this. The second thing is it can draw and annotate on your screen, like this. And the third thing is it can act as a full screen break timer, like this. Now, to access the zoom function, it's very simple. You're going to hold down the control key and press 1. And then it's going to follow wherever your mouse goes. And you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and out. And to zoom with the trackpad, you press both fingers lightly on the trackpad and move your fingers up and down. While you're zooming, if you click, the zoom is going to set at whatever zoom level it's currently at, and you can then use the pen tool to draw and type. Now, to begin annotating without zooming, we're going to hold Control and press the 2 key. Wherever you decide to click and drag is where you're going to draw, of course. We can start typing by pressing the T key and then typing wherever we'd like to type. After pressing the T key, you can control the font size by scrolling up or down with your mouse wheel, or by using the 2 fingers on your trackpad, like I mentioned earlier. We can change the color of our drawing tools. The colors are limited, but we do have red by pressing R, orange by pressing O, green by pressing G, B by pressing blue, yellow by pressing Y, and pink by pressing P. We can also control the size of the pen tool by holding the Control key and scrolling with our mouse button. We can erase the last thing we drew by holding Control and pressing Z. We can draw straight lines by holding the Shift key and dragging. We can make arrows by holding Control and Shift at the same time. The arrow is going to be where you first click. We can draw rectangles by holding the Control key. We can draw ellipses by holding the Tab. And we can erase everything by pressing the E key for erase. If you'd like your entire screen to be one color, so you can have something that's like a whiteboard or a blackboard, you can press W to have a whiteboard, or K to have a blackboard. To access the break timer, you can find ZoomIt in your system tray. Right-click and click Options. You can set how long you'd like your break timer to be, And in advanced settings, you can change things like the color and the timer position. To start the break timer, hold Control and press 3. And it will start counting down on its own. It is also here where all of ZoomIt's shortcuts can be changed by going to the appropriate tab. As you can see here, by default, zoom is Control+1. Draw without zooming is Control+2. Here we can change the font for typing. And as I just mentioned, we can edit the break settings by going here. Now, one of the things I use ZoomIt for the most these days is to annotate some part of my screen and then clip it and then send that into Teams as an image for my students to see permanently. To do that, you can annotate your screen using the tools I showed you already. And then you can hold Windows key plus Shift plus the S button, S as in snake. And then wherever you draw a box, wherever you click and drag a box around, it's going to copy that portion of your screen into your clipboard. And then you can go over to your Microsoft Teams meeting, hold Control and press V to paste and send that image. Now, I'll go into more detail about Microsoft snipping tools in a future video, as they're very useful. But I just wanted to show you that really quickly, as I do this multiple times a day, every day. I hope you find this tool as useful as I do, and you're able to incorporate it into your distance learning lessons. As I said earlier, I use this tool almost every single day. I just find it so useful to be able to draw something, point out something on the screen that I need my students to see, clip that image, throw it into Teams. Later, I even throw it into Canvas with detailed step-by-step instructions, so I have a place for my students to go and they can get those instructions with those screen annotations and see them anytime they need to. Thank you so much for watching.